I've got an interesting anecdote about the office. Carl, me and Carl went out, right? With me and Jane, Carl and Johnny and Gigi, wasn't it? Carl, I'm talking to you, wasn't it?
No.
Wasn't
Gigi?
Is it important who went?
No.
Okay.
But we're walking down the street. Carl was there though, and he can back me up on this. We had a curry. We were walking back, and this little funny homeless fella, didn't he?
Mm.
He I got to tell it before I go, didn't he?
Yes.
he came up to me, right, and he recognised it. Talking's more difficult than you think. Right, and he came up to me and he went, oh, he said, I've just nicked 5 of your DVDs from HMV, and he shook my hand. He was so happy with it, and I went, right, excellent. He went, all I do is I just swing the bag over the top like that when I'm going out, and he had a bag full of DVDs, didn't he? And he was so pleased to tell me that he'd stolen. Isn't that great?
He said they're going like hotcakes.
Yeah, he said they're going up. Of course they are.
Yeah, you're nicking them.
Yeah. I know. We get paid for them, though, don't we?
So not the stolen ones?
Don't we?
No. What do you mean? Did you sign them for him? I know you would, you idiot. What? So he just nicked 5.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you say he was homeless, was he?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
No.
Surely, how would he have seen the show? He'd just walked past Curry's one morning.
Dixon's.
Yeah.
The telly idea.
Seen a trailer for it. Thought, interesting.
I don't know if he was homeless. I didn't go into his home
Sure.
life.
He shook his hand though, and
But
off he went.
he made Carl look smart. Do you know what I mean? So, but he wasn't northern, was he?
No, he was like. Do you know in the Fast Show with Paul Whitehouse when he did that character, that shady character?
Yes.
The spit of that,
Was
like
he?
a ponytail, t-shirt on, a bit too big for him, and just the movement and everything, really like a Cockney little cheeky chap type
Yeah,
person.
a little Cockney cheeky chap.
And he just said, "Oh, it's you." Said,
Yeah.
you got your DVDs, got 6 of them from HMV, going like hotcakes they are." And then off he went whistling,
Yeah.
well chuffed with himself,
Yeah.
going like hotcakes.
What was he going to do with them then? Probably sell them.
Yeah.
How does he sell them? Where does he sell them? Does he go up to people and go, do you want an office DVD? They're not nicked.
Yeah.
4 quid.
Yeah, exactly. Are these stolen? No.
No. They've still got the tags on them.
Well, it's like those people who, you're those cab drivers that you'll meet at sort of 3 in the morning who've just got a car
Yeah.
and just went out with a car.
Yeah.
And just, I'll pick people up and charge them.
Yeah.
I got in one once. I said to him, the guy just pulled up. I said, he said, I was in like East London. I'm going back to North London. I said, yeah, going to Swiss Cottage. He went, sure, hop in. We set off. He went, do you know the way? I said, well, not really, no. I thought you'd know the way. You're in a cabbie. And he went, no, don't really know the way there. I said, have you got an A to Z? He went, no. I thought, well, if you're going to go out just on the, just winging it as a cab driver,
Yeah.
2 things: take a map and a torch. He didn't have
Yeah.
either. He said, well, I'll probably get to Camden. I said, well, I'll direct you from there. Drove on for about 5 minutes, making conversation. About 5 minutes later, he went, do you know the way to Camden? I thought you knew the way to Camden. I don't really know the way. I thought I did.
Oh.
It was lewd. I mean,
Let me out. 4
yeah,
quid.
Exactly. And that's, I don't know who's got that sort of time on their hands that they just think it's 3 in the morning. I'm at a loose end. I think I'll go out doing a bit of cabbing. Educating Ricky.
The titles that are meant to sort of pull you in.
Yeah.
We've got what was it? Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Yeah.
You've got It's Not His Vault, and Get a Load with This.
Get a load of this. So, which pun do I pick first? I think I'll go for get a load of this.
Get a lobe of this.
Yeah, get a load of this. Yeah.
Well, that's a story about a girl who she was deaf, right, for 4 years, and it happened quite a bit back this.
What year? Or was it?
I think it was
ages ago. Was it?
About quite a bit back. She was deaf for about 4 years, having an argument with her mum, it said, which I didn't quite understand, because I don't know how they do that.
Yeah.
But she was having an argument, and a man pushed her against the wall, and she banged her head, and her hearing came back.
Okay.
Was she wearing a Walkman and it fell out, and she'd realised? Oh,
There's no explanation.
There's no explanation. Well, why is that teaching me something then?
Right, so I knew you'd say this, right? So I thought, right, I'll stick something on it. Do you know that bees are deaf?
No, you can't just no. If
No.
you ask someone something they don't know the answer to, they don't tell you something else. Just I'll tell you something else then. I can't answer that. I'll tell you something else. Imagine that. If you asked a teacher. Look, How do birds fly? Wow, if you're going to do that, tallest building is... I mean, what?
Well,
That was the equivalent, Carl, of running away when we asked you a question.
Yeah, the intellectual equivalent of going, look over there, there's a monster.
Yeah.
Listen, what do you mean? What she... Okay, so... Oh.
So her
There's
hearing
no
came back.
explanation. There's no explanation. Or you don't know.
well, there isn't one, is there, really? It's a bit
What,
weird.
did
the only
did
thing
doctors not look into it?
No, I think they just said, oh, that's good.
But, so again, I don't. Where did this information? Is that if you read this on
Is
the net?
that
Is that
it?
all they put on
There
the
was
net?
once a deaf woman who hit her head and she
and her
could hear.
hearing came back.
It was bizarre things about being deaf.
Was there
And-
three
Yeah.
was there
I've
sort
got
of-
that book, yeah, it's a good book, that.
Was there three
Yeah.
more pages you just couldn't be bothered to read on?
Yeah.
No, it was just a little bit. And it
Was there a
said-
little picture, a cartoon picture?
No pictures, I just
And we
read
going,
it.
ow.
Look,
Ow,
if
I
you don't
can
want to
hear.
know, if you don't want to learn, you know.
Yeah. Okay. It's not his fault. Let me have it's not his fault. You got to save this. This has got to teach me something. It'll be an interesting story.
Right, it's not his vault. This fella,
Yeah. What year? Ages ago?
Olden times.
I'd say in the 70s.
Okay.
Would you? Any evidence for that?
And,
Does he wear flares in the story?
Right.
Is that your
Story.
reason?
no, it's a bit like Yori Geller, this fella, right? Where
Oh, yeah.
he's electric.
He's electric.
And if he walks past the telly would fizz.
Uh-huh.
If he walked past the radio, it all goes like that.
Oh.
His hair stuck up all the time. And he'd be having a bath and everything would be all right. And then the power would sort of switch on in his body. And the electric in his body made him jump out of the bath. So,
What do you mean so? What is that so? What does that so mean? You've given us nothing. You've given us nothing.
You'd have to at least give us the scientific explanation.
Yeah.
electric eels have 400 volts in them.
Oh, is this the running away again?
What was that one called?
Yeah, but but
It's not his vault.
but there's a reason not his fault. It's not his fault. I thought it was going to be something about keeping it in a safe.
I think we should do these the other way round. I
It's
think you
not
should
his
tell us
fault.
the story and then we'll hear the pun.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Right, let's leave it. Right, last one.
Yeah.
Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Go on then, tell me about that one. What's that? What am I going to learn from this?
Right, well, do you know the saying, put a sock in it?
I like it already.
Do you know the saying?
Yeah.
Right, well, do you know where it comes from?
I assume it's shut up, so I'll stuff your mouth with a sock to shut
Well,
you up.
Years ago.
Yeah. Sorry, am I right?
No, not really. Ages ago.
1970s?
50s,
Okay.
I'd say. Do you know the old?
I'd say.
Do you know the old gramophone
Yeah.
with the big horn on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Well, those stereos didn't have a volume control on them. Right. So they'd be listening
Oh,
to
so you
their
put a
album,
sock in the...
and
mute.
you'd put something like a sock.
That's a real one, you see. That's taught me something. That's good. That's excellent, Carl. That is the only one that counts, like chewing the fat, if they're true. I'm assuming they are. It works. It's of interest. I haven't got it verified yet, but that is educating Ricky. That's brilliant. I will say the other two were more entertaining. So, you know,
Do you understand the distinction, though, between that one and Electrical Man?
And, or I've hit me head, I can hear you, Mum.
Yeah. Can you see the difference, though? Or
Not
all
really,
three...
because when I read all three, I took something away from all of them.
What
What
did
did
you
you
take
take
away
away
from
from
the
the
other
Electrical
two?
Man?
I just thought, imagine that. Imagine how annoying that would be.
But that's
Yeah.
not education, is
And
it?
it's
really?
not taking
No,
anything
but
away.
Think about it, right? We take our lives for granted all the time, don't you? You get up in the morning, it's like, oh, I'll get up and walk for a shower. Some people can't walk, right?
Yeah.
This guy, he can't even have a... You know what I mean? It's nice to have a bath, isn't it, when you got time on your hands and
Yeah.
you can relax. This guy can't even do that. It might be all right for a bit, but he's not really enjoying it because at any moment it could strike.
Yeah.
So he can't even do that. He can't comb his hair because it keeps going a mess.
Yeah.
He can't watch his
Nor can
favourite...
you.
No, he can't.
Does he fight crime? What does he do with his powers?
Yeah.
I think he just has to sit around because he can't work with machinery
Right.
because he'll probably blow a fuse.
Yeah, so he just sits around.
Think about it. What can he do? What normal things can he do?
Skateboarding.
Going for long walks.
Yeah,
Put a wetsuit on.
well, he couldn't do that.
Why?
Ooh, water and electric.
No, wetsuits aren't actually wet. They're dry
Yeah, but-
initially.
Just put a whole wetsuit on and walk round with flippers and
A
rub the
wetsuit's
sole.
not like a dinner jacket that's like really wet.
Well,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is think. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And what was the
And
other one
the
again?
girl,
What was
the girl deaf for 4 years hits her head.
Yeah. That's just.
What have you learned from that?
What is that?
Well, imagine how happy you'd be. Remember that time when I nearly died when I choked on a Mr. Freeze pop. Right?
No, tell us that one again.
No, I told you, didn't I?
Tell us again.
Yeah, but the people will remember it, and then it's
They
not-
won't. They weren't listening. Go on. What happened?
It was ages ago when my mum and dad used to go out shopping on a Friday.
1970s?
Get the food in. get a week's load of food in the cupboard and that, and we'd they'd come in with all the food, and we'd all be like, oh god, there's no food left on a Thursday really, so we'd all be hungry on the Friday by the time the food got in.
I love that.
And
That
I'd
they
be
wouldn't
like-
eat it. I imagine him like jackal puppies.
Yeah.
Just like licking your parents' mouth for food as they
So-
come through the door.
So they come in from the supermarket, they're emptying the box. Our kid had got some biscuits and what have you. I
Frenzy, just a feeding frenzy, like pigeons.
I grabbed the Mr. Freeze pop and knocked it back really quick, but it wasn't frozen, so I knocked it back so it was like a liquid, and it went down the wrong way, right? And I was choking, right? And I nearly died. It must have been about, how long can you go before you die?
A couple of minutes to do
Right,
it.
I reckon about 1:50. Right, I was really close to dying.
How do you know you were close to dying?
Did
Did your life flash before you?
No, but I just was like,
There was loads of instances of him eating pops.
Yeah, exactly.
I just was dead.
40 of those.
whatever, right?
What do
Anyway.
you think you'd see if your life flashed past you? What do you think? Which elements would stand out for you? Do you think?
What?
Uh,
Start now. Go back. What do you remember? What's the first thing you remember?
as a kid,
Yeah, just anything
right,
now.
being in a hall and having our dog licking my face.
That's your earliest memory.
Yeah.
The talked about, the acclaimed, educating Ricky.
Right, well, just in case anyone's new, doesn't normally listen, basically, I'm educating Ricky.
Yeah.
Do a bit of research in a week, find stuff, news, history, anything that's interesting. 3 stories, I give them a nice little headline. You take your pick.
Yeah.
Between now and 3, you're going to learn 3 things. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, the headlines are, I'll be no buying one of them.
Give us that again.
I'll be no buying one of them.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cream.
We've also got Hippopotamus News
Okay. Okay.
and Chicken You Believe It.
Can you believe it?
Well, I'm
it's
going
your
to go for
choice, Rick.
Potter News.
Hippopotamus News?
Yeah.
News.
Right, well, this one, it's. I'm not going to take the credit here. I heard Christian talking about this on breakfast, right? Because it's a good story that happened. Basically, I don't know if I told you about it last week when we were having our spaghetti, but
I think you did.
Right,
I
there's
know what it is. I know what this is.
Okay, I've not heard this.
right, there's a little midget. Right, there's a circus.
I'm loving it already.
Circus going on somewhere. I think it was in America. And
Is that present day or old times?
I'm talking like in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
Right, little midget. Circus, really packed out show. People are loving it.
Right, Steve, you're asked the same question I did. I know.
So there's a little midget jumping up and down on a trampoline.
What circles is this?
Right?
I pay good money to see it.
So everyone's clapping, and he's getting carried away.
Because he can't believe he's like, he can't believe they're loving it. I didn't know they'd like a little person on a trampoline, but they love me.
But you know what it's like when if there's a crowd of people sort of encouraging you to sort of go higher and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he knew it was getting out of hand. But he was jumping and he was coming down. They're all going higher, and he's going really high in the air, right? So he's doing this. Crowd are clapping. There's a hippo, right, just sat next to the trampoline, getting ready to come on and do his act.
Oh right, I thought he was in the audience.
That's it, getting ready to do his act, Steve.
Yeah.
So the
He's a ventriloquist.
What do you mean he's sitting by the trampoline waiting to do his act?
Because it's-
Why does he sit in the dressing room and they go, 5 minutes, Mr. Muss, 5 minutes, Mr. Muss?
So anyway, right? So the hippo's there.
He's getting annoyed, is he? Because the midget's
He's
eating
going,
into
how
his
can I
tongue.
follow this? How
Yeah.
can I,
He's
this is
probably
really
thinking,
annoying. They're going to be,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
no.
So
He's thinking, he's already done the trampoline, my pogo stick act, he's never going to work.
Yeah, go on. So there's a hippo waiting. See, it's a great story, and I just know he embellishes it or it gets slightly wrong. Go on.
so
So there's a midget jumping up and down, the hippo's
Yeah.
getting annoyed. He
The
wants
crowd
to-
are going
The
mad.
crowd
The
are going
midget's
mental.
loving it. Can't believe his luck. Although you think he probably knows he's dicing with danger.
yeah. So next thing you know, they're all saying higher, higher. He gives it one big, like, heavy sort of landing on the trampoline, goes really high, but goes off at a funny angle.
Oh,
Hypotenuse.
okay.
Yeah. And sort of flies off.
Hypotenuse!
Sure.
Flies off at a funny angle.
Oh, dear.
Hippo's there, swallows him whole. Crowd are clapping, thinking that's why the hippo was waiting there.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
It's not rubbish though. And
But
it's-
no, maybe there was an accident in a circus with a midget and a hippo at him. But at no point was this hippo waiting to go on, going, come on. The midget flew off at a hypotenuse and landed in the hippo's mouth and was swallowed whole. This is what you embellish it. That is great. And what's
I
that?
have to say though, Rick, when I heard midget trampoline hippopotamus, I was thinking accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe. I mean,
It is that you should never put those three together.
Never.
It's a recipe for disaster.
It's
Everyone knows
textbook.
that. Midget trampoline hippopotamus. Are you mental?
You're asking for
Well,
trouble.
Well,
You know when he told me it, he said, and the midget. He didn't mention the hippopotamus, and he said the midget went on, and soon he fell off, and the hippo ate him. And I said, sorry, what was the hippo doing there? He went, it's a circus.
I've never heard of a circus having a hippo.
What do hippos do?
What can they do? You can't train them, can you?
What do you?
Aren't they like very deadly? They're
Yeah,
huge, aren't
you
they?
can't have a hippo in a circus.
Are you sure?
You're not thinking of Zippo.
He's neither clown.
Yeah. No, and it wasn't some sort of where Zippo was eating a midget, and it's some sort of horrible sexual act.
No, it was definitely. I heard it on breakfast, right? And
Oh,
it
okay,
was
sorry.
definitely-
No, it's definitely fact.
Yeah.
though. It's
Okay.
definitely
Right.
truth.
Okay. Good. Educating Ricky, part 2. Right. What's the clues
Right,
left?
well, we've got left the headlines. I'll be no buying one of them,
Yeah.
and we've also got chicken. You believe it? Chicken. You believe it? So they're the two that are left. Which one's you going
Right.
for?
Chicken, you believe it, is not that picture, is it? In that we saw
Which picture?
the bloke with the
No.
right.
no.
Okay.
God, that was bad.
Right. Okay.
Right, so
I just better explain
We
that.
can't really
but-
discuss this on air, can we?
Well, we can. Steve brought in Carl, the best book ever, which is what is it?
I found it when I was moving house. It's an FHM publication, and it's kind of like lots of grotesque pictures and stories, and like a book of freaks and weirdos and.
And Carl
grotesques.
opened it, and the first one was like
At the back, I
At the
started
back.
from the
Well, you couldn't
But
believe your luck, could you?
What was
as
it?
soon as you
What was number 50?
a bloke with two heads.
And he said, "What's number 1?"
Yeah.
And then number 6, there's a bloke who's a squid or something.
Octopus.
Yeah. yeah. He's loving it. At number 1, he said, well, it's just a fella under a rock. And I went, oh no, read on, I think I know about this. And it's the fella that was found, he caused a landslide while having sex with a chicken. And they pulled him up, and there he is, the chicken owner.
Right,
So Carl
so-
could not believe his luck. So it's not that.
Chicken. You believe it?
I'll have that one
You're
then.
going for that one?
Yeah.
Right, well, we've talked a lot on the show about...
We've talked a lot on the show.
Yeah.
About animals without heads.
No, we haven't! We haven't! We talked about cockroaches could live without a head for 7 days.
Yeah, we talked about that, and then of course there was the well-known one about the fella who had his head cut off, and he
blinked.
he said to his mate, "Count how many times I blink when my head comes off."
Yeah,
Was that
when you told it to me, you said his head came off, and he said, as his head was in the basket, he said, "Quick, count how many times I blink." And it was Nick Frost that had to go, "No, Carl, no, he said it before." I went, and that was lovely. So yeah, we've talked quite a lot about things heads coming off. Go on then.
Well, this one,
Yeah.
right? Back in 1945,
You looked it up the date.
Got a specific date. Wow.
mate Jonathan sent this one. You know him as well, lad at the BBC, right? He emailed this one in, so thanks for that. Chicken. It's called Mike.
There's a chicken called. Sorry, I missed a bit there. There's a chicken called Mike.
Chicken called Mike.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What happened was it was living on a farm, right? Loads of chickens knocking about, and the owner of the farm is like, getting ready for tea, and his wife says, "Go out and get a fresh chicken because my mum's coming round." So he thinks, well, I want to get a good one in because I want to impress her. Cause back then, even then, they wanted to impress the mother-in-law and that. So they said, "All right, I'll just nip out and get one." So he sees Mike, chicken running around.
Is this during the war or after the war?
1945. I'd say that was after.
No, it ended. Well,
It ended in 1945.
Yeah,
Okay.
September. Go on.
So chicken's running about. He thinks that one, that looks all right. I'll have that one.
Mikey.
So he picks it up, and he cuts his head off,
Oh.
puts it on the block, cuts his head off, runs about a bit, like they do. He thinks it'll stop in a minute. Keeps running about. Oh, what's going on here? Right? He's now like chasing a chicken without an head.
Yeah.
He's saying he should die in a minute. Anyway, doesn't die. Chicken's walking around with no head. Lives for 18 months.
Yeah.
Chicken with no head.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, I'll tell you, I've heard this story before, Rick, and the explanation, as I understand it, was that certain vital cords, spinal cords, weren't severed when the head came off. So that was why it continued to live.
Yep.
I don't know if that sounds plausible.
It's fine, absolutely fine. How did it take on protein and energy?
The fella who owned it, he said, well, hang on a minute. He said, I could kill it now.
But I've got a wonder chicken here.
But he's thinking, it must really want to live.
Sure.
Right? If it survives that, I've got something here.
Yeah.
So what he does, he gets a little eye droplet thing that he used to use on it. Obviously not anymore, right? And he filled it with grain and water, and it had a big hole in its neck where its head used to be. And he
incredibly.
And he dropped.
You know what? There's. I mean, that is possible. Then, if it, without infection, without infection, if he was taking on things, it is possible, right? Why?
Why what?
Why did he do it? How cruel is that? I mean, that was not cruel because the chicken obviously,
He said if he thought it was a bit fed up, he would have killed it. He said, but it was running around quite happy.
Well, it wasn't fed up at all because it had no brain.
Well,
what do you mean? Well,
I'm just saying what.
It was nothing. It was just sinew and nerves and electrical impulses breaking down energies. Right. That's all it was. It didn't have a brain, so it was. But I'm worried about the psychology of keeping a pet without a head. I'm worried more about what the farmer was thinking than the chicken.
I tell you this. The question I'm asking is: was the mother-in-law impressed? I mean, that's why he set out. That's why he set out to shot Mike's head off.
This is lovely, but it's just the head where you don't kill a chicken like that all at once.
I thought we were having chicken for dinner. Come and look at this, running around the yard.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So there you go. You've learned something there.
Yeah, I have learned something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. One more.
That farmer, I've learned that farmer was very strange indeed.
Yeah.
There you go. I
have to say, to be fair to Carl, I have a feeling like when I read it, the reason he kept it alive was as a novelty. He got charged people to come and see the incredible headless chicken called Mike.
Right.
So here we are.
That's great.
I'll be no buying one of them.
Go on.
Are you familiar with the saying white elephant?
Something is a white elephant. Yeah, I don't think so.
Hold on. You phoned me last night and said, what does white elephant mean? And I told you.
Yeah, I know, but I know where it came from, but I just was wondering what it was about.
So in what way is educating Ricky you calling me up and asking me something?
Well, do you know how it came about?
You've given away some of the secrets of the show there, it would appear. I didn't realise he was phoning you for information.
Well, he just asked me what the term white elephant meant in sort of like colloquial.
Did he say, why are you interested, Carl? No reason.
No, go on.
Well, what it is, ages ago when...
So what do we understand white elephant to mean?
Well, something that's useless, that's like a bit of something that you wouldn't want around, that's just stood there doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Carl.
So years ago, when people used to use elephants...
Years ago, go on.
When people used to use elephants?
Yeah, more than they do now.
Right.
More than they do now!
This doesn't involve a midget, does it?
No. So they'd use them in the workplace and stuff.
Sure,
as factories. Yeah.
To move stuff
Teenagers.
around and that.
Yeah, security guards.
Yeah. Can't trust them with the buns, though. That's why they stopped using them.
Oh, right. God, go on.
So there was loads of elephants knocking about, and the thing is, right,
you couldn't move from.
If you have a lot of something, you also have a lot of demic ones, don't you?
A lot of what?
Sort of demicky ones that aren't right, really.
Demicky?
Well, like they weren't properly. They weren't
properly.
They weren't
Sorry,
demicky or
Carl,
properly.
what are you doing?
Right, I'm getting to the story. So what I'm telling you is...
They were a bit demicky, so they weren't properly.
Have you started making words up?
Right.
Yeah, you Stanley Unwin.
Listen.
Reincarnated.
Demicky?
Yeah.
There was a lot of albino elephants knocking about.
Okay. Where is this?
Olden
Africa.
times.
Africa.
Yes! Should we say Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If an answer's got a question mark at the end, I'm not
Well,
sure
it's
an
either
answer.
Africa or India, but I'll give you a clue. Well, these elephants, do they have big ears or little ears?
I didn't sort of notice the size of the elephants. What I noticed is they were white because they were albino elephants.
Okay.
Right? So that's why they're heading albino buying one of them.
Okay.
Right?
No way.
So what would happen is people who didn't know what they were doing, like, you know, you get people making a mistake buying cars that are full of problems and that. Back
Yeah.
then when people were buying elephants, they'd go up to someone, say, I'm after an elephant, and the fella would say, yeah, I've got one here for you, this is a nice one. And it was all white and stuff, and it had like blue eyes.
You should never trust a used elephant salesman.
It was just this elephant that's white with blue eyes.
Right? So,
This is great.
So,
Yeah.
so a fellow who didn't know what he was doing would buy the elephant and he'd get it back and it'd be all sort of lazy and stuff
Oh,
and
the
what
worst
doing and
kind, yeah.
stuff. And he'd say, what's up with this? And his mate, who's a bit of an expert with elephants, and go, oh, where have you bought that from? And he'd say, oh, I got it off that fella. And he goes, oh,
All this embellishing nonsense he
Come
does
on.
with the
you
story.
shouldn't have bought that. So he goes, why? And he says, it's only albino, isn't it? And he's like, what does that mean? And he said, oh, it gets tired. It's not that good at doing work and that. You shouldn't
It
have bought
steals
it.
from you.
But elephants back then were like a god. You know what I mean?
Right.
You couldn't say, oh, I'm sick of this and I'm going to abandon it or anything, because elephants were seen as like pretty high up on the chain of things. So they'd end up being stuck with an elephant that's an albino,
Yeah.
couldn't do much, gets tired, basically gets in the way. So they said that's where they're saying, like, you know, bought a bit of a white elephant there.
What do you reckon, Rick?
I feel like I haven't been educated. I feel like I've lost something. So at that time in my life that I can never get back. I feel like I've sort of been soiled, and I don't know where to start. I'm angry. Do you know what I mean? I'm angry.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
And all that rubbish around. Look at his little face.
Well-
What was it? All that shit about a second-hand elephant salesman and his mate knew about elephants. What is it? What are they had blue eyes. What are you?
Well, there you go.
Albinos have red eyes for a start.
Oh, that's it. We've run out of time.
Oh,
again.
what? I mean, what are you going to do about this next week? Are you going to actually do some educating next week? And what about Rockbusters?
Right, Steve, you search for a winner.
I will.
At the
At
end of this, we
random.
can
Yep.
slip into that. So the first one was, the fella's only got one badge left.
I have no idea.
The initial was E.
Go on.
Will I give out the answer now?
Yeah,
Steve?
give the answer. Yeah,
I
go
think
on.
you should.
That was his last sticker. Yeah?
Elastica, the band Elastica. I'm
Right,
not
doesn't
sure.
work.
No,
Doesn't work.
The word sticker and
Yeah.
and a badge are not interchangeable.
And it's not his last sticker. It's Elastica.
Yeah, but, like, his last sticker. So someone's got it.
Oh, so say a different word and it works. Oh, so if the band is Elastica, then it works. God, if only Justin would have named it different. If she'd have just gone, let's call it Elastica, then we'd have, yeah.
Second one.
What was the clue?
The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
Go on.
That's Miss Dinnermate.
Miss Dynamite.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, but it's been running for 4 weeks. We've done the obvious
Doesn't
ones.
work. Doesn't work.
Miss Dinnermate.
Again, if she'd have called herself Miss Dinnermate, it would work. She didn't. See, what's happening is pop stars are letting you down by naming themselves incorrectly for your clues. Those don't work. They don't count.
And the last one, I
Dinnermate.
really, really love that woman. I love everything she does. That was
Yeah.
M.
Yeah,
That was Madonna.
yeah, Madonna. I'm going to give you that. That work. Yeah. Right. That's the end of that feature until you can get ones that work. Okay. So you won't hear any more of that because it's rubbish. You're running out already.
I think that's
Sorry.
harsh.
Do you just think of the first three things that come in your mind and make them fit? Just think of three bands and make a clue, and if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter.
I just went through the
Rubbish. It was rubbish.
Whatever.
Just get this educating Ricky out of the way. So Turkey, yeah. So what is this again?
This is educating Ricky, as a tip included.
Right.
Apparently, a fellow was on holiday in Turkey. He's just having a normal holiday. Weather's good. You know, he's having a good time. And
Waiters are all normal height.
Yeah. He's having his meal. He hears a load of screaming going on in the kitchen.
Hold on.
Has his girlfriend wandered in there?
And they do.
With a step ladder.
Yeah.
the circumcised people in the kitchen, and apparently
What are you talking about?
Whoa, slow down. We were
Sorry,
sidetracked there for a minute.
what are
We
you
weren't
talking
listening.
about? Well, I'm excited about two things at once here. One, they circumcised people in the kitchen. Two, I guessed it was someone losing the end of their knob.
You did, yeah.
I started thinking like Karl Pilkington.
Extraordinary.
That is amazing.
apparently it was going on. It wasn't just a one-off either. Well, when I say a one-off, I mean they did it more than once.
Yeah.
Right. And there was it was there for a week, and apparently the first night it was quiet, and then the rest of the week, every day it'd be like having his breakfast or even his lunch or even his tea.
Yeah.
Right? He'd be doing it all day.
Oh.
You'd be hearing
Lunch
screams.
and breakfast, fair enough, really.
Yeah,
Circumcision
but
at tea time.
Don't do that.
And apparently it's a tradition over there. You can't even make a complaint about it. It's like, well, you should have found out before you come over
See,
it.
I can't believe this is
Sorry,
true.
I'm a little bit
I can't
lost.
believe this is
He was in a
true.
restaurant, in a hotel, and there were people having circumcisions in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I'm even worried that we're bordering on the racist here, suggesting that is tradition, that Turkish people cut the end of their cocks off in the kitchen
Yeah.
at meal times. I think you're wrong, Carl.
This just sounds ludicrous, Carl.
No, I don't think it happens everywhere.
Right.
I think this
Just in
certain,
this
I was
particular
visiting this
restaurant.
hotel.
certain places,
Certain hotels.
certain hotels.
What,
it's-
is it like 2-star?
Yeah.
I don't-
Why did he go to the Foreskin Inn? It was his own fault, wasn't it?
so that's
Sorry, that's it, is it?
Have they closed?
Sorry, no, wait. That's the story. You educated me, right? Once a fella saw some Turkish people cutting the tip of their knob off in the kitchen. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Carl. Got any more?
Well, there's things you can learn from it. Either don't go to Turkey,
No.
don't have calamari when you're over there.
Yeah.
Carl, you've done it again.